Hello, Geek Army. It is D over at the epitome of geekdom, and I'm bringing you another lovely, lovely Geekdom QNA episode. As you can tell, my microphone is much, much better than it was before, and it really wasn't the microphone. I'm using the same mic. It's just that I'm putting it in a different place, so it sounds better. Anyway, so we're going to get to your questions here, like always, on Geekdom Q&A. And I know, I've been dragging my feet with that Ask FM. I apologize. I've just got a lot on my plate right now with Dragon Ball Super starting up and all the news coming up. And I want to really make sure that I get a lot of quality content on this channel. My videos aren't filled with flashy flash cartoons or any of that stuff. I'm not that talented, but I'm still going to provide what I think is even more important, and that's great conversation and great information and a lot of fun. We're going to have fun here. So part of that fun is me talking to you guys, because we're all Dragon Ball fans. We're all in the same playing field here, and it's fun to interact. And the whole reason behind this YouTube thing, because very few people actually make a lot of money on this thing, all right? Anybody who sits there and tells you that they signed up to YouTube to make money, you ain't gonna make shit, bro. Very, 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 very few YouTubers make money. We're talking about the top guys. You have to really have, like, in the high 10,000s to make any real money, My purpose is more so to entertain, educate, and maybe learn something from you as well. That's why I'm here. So let's get to some of these questions here that were left in the last Q&A. Now, the first question I want to address was sent over by the Worst 17, and he writes, you might have said this before, maybe I forgot, but what made you want to start a YouTube channel about DBZ, Star Wars, and Marvel? I'm actually going to save that one for a future video. Because I'll elaborate on that in a much separate video. Thank you for the question, but I would rather just talk about that separately, because that's more of a central topic about me more so than anything. And I will if I hit if I hit 1,500 subscribers, 1,500, that'll probably be the topic of that video, is what made me want to start a YouTube channel. So I'll go into the whole history. So if you care. I know you do, but I don't know about anybody else. All right, but I'll do it, I promise, if I hit that number. Cesar Rodriguez writes, why don't Goten and Trunks have tails, like Gohan did when he was young? So I'm under the impression, very, very certain, that Goten and Trunks did have tails when they were born, and that they were surgically removed by Bulma/Vegeta/Chi Chi, probably because... I'm guessing Vegeta probably told Bulma, even though Bulma herself saw it in Dragon Ball, that anybody, if Trunks were to look at the moon, he would transform into a giant ape. And I'm sure that Bulma was concerned that, maybe he's in his crib and the light is coming in from the window, and then all of a sudden her whole house is destroyed. We don't want to have that happen. So I'm pretty sure that this is what happened. I'm pretty sure maybe Gohan told Chi-Chi, hey, this is me just guessing, hey, we got to, remove Goten's tail because of this reason. So yes, I do believe they were born with tails. There's really no reason as to why they weren't, because they're the same exact kind of half-breeds that Gohan is. So that's my guess. That's always been my impression since I first started watching the show, and it makes sense to me. So, but again, you make a point in that it's never outwardly said, but I do think that is the case. Moises Wynns. A couple of questions from Moises. Question. Why do you think Goku hasn't visited his grandpa Gohan in Otherworld throughout the DBZ series? I know he isn't that significant anymore, but Goku really admired him in Dragon Ball, and that episode he fought him hit me, and should have hit everyone. Would have been nice. So, Moises actually has another question, which I'm going to get to in a minute, but we'll address that one first. Firstly, yes, that moment. Now, for those who haven't seen Dragon Ball, and again, you need to watch Dragon Ball. I've said it a million times. If you've only seen Dragon Ball Z, you're only getting half the story. You need to watch Dragon Ball. For those who don't know, though, shortly after the Red Ribbon Army saga, Goku went to go visit Urarai Baba, and they had this little miniature tournament where And the whole purpose was because Baba he needed to help find the last Dragon Ball, and Baba would have helped him because she's a fortune teller. So they had this mini tournament, and Goku's fighting these characters like Devilman and, you know, the Mummy and all this. And then the final character is this mysterious guy with a rabbit mask on. Turns out that was actually Grandpa Gohan. The guy's got a halo, too. This is the first ever reference in Dragon Ball of Baba's ability to bring you back to life for one day, which, as many of you who did see Dragon Ball Z know, that's what happened in the Buu saga. You know, Goku comes back to compete in the tournament, gets caught up in the drama with Kaio, fights Majin Vegeta, you know, fights Buu, leaves, and then old Kai gives him his life, and he comes back permanently. But this first happened in Dragon Ball, and it's a very touching moment. In fact, I've said this before, but my fiance and I are watching Dragon Ball. We actually, as of this recording, we just finished the Garlic Jr. saga. She actually didn't hate it, so she's not jaded fans like we are. She did get a little annoyed at the Kami stuff, and so do all of us, but she actually did not hate the Garlic Jr. saga, which surprised me. We're watching, by the way, just so you know, we're watching Dragon Ball Z in Japanese start to finish, and Dragon Ball. So we are watching the entire thing as if it was airing for the first time, the way it aired in Japan. You know what I mean? So we're not watching things out of order. We're literally trying to keep as close as we can to the original way it came out in Japan. So during this scene, she actually legitimately cried. Like, tears were coming out of her eyes. She got emotional when Gohan reveals himself as being Goku's grandfather, who we had heard about over and over and over again in Dragon Ball. You know, and then Goku cries and hugs him, and it's a very, very touching moment. And anybody who's ever lost somebody, I certainly have. But if you're out there and you've ever lost a loved one, a parent or a brother or even a friend, I'm sure we all kind of wish that you could do this and bring them back for one day. But and you're right, Moises. That was an incredible, incredible moment. And to answer your question, I think Grandpa Gohan is kind of like Toriyama. It's kind of like what Toriyama did with Lunch. I think he just forgot he existed. The last time we see Gohan was during the last 5 episodes of Dragon Ball, that wedding dress arc that is filler, that was not in the manga, and Goku visits Grandpa Gohan. As far as why he didn't visit him in the other world, I'm guessing that he just went to heaven and was happy. I mean, I know that there was a part in Dragon Ball when they asked about bringing him back to life, and he says, no, I don't want to come back to life. There's too many pretty girls here. So there's not really much he could say. But I do agree with you in that it would make sense that Goku would go visit his grandpa. I mean, he does love him, right? But then again, Dragon Ball's weird about that kind of shit. So one more question. How do you think Kid Vegeta would have been if he was on Earth the same age as Goku? I know Vegeta was outstandingly strong, but so were many of Goku's adversaries till he grew stronger. I think you're asking like how he would have competed with Goku. He was stronger than Goku. I'm pretty sure that Vegeta was probably stronger than Goku all the way up until Goku learned the Kaioken. The Kaioken is what I think kind of put Goku over the line, and even then he really couldn't finish Vegeta off. You know, he hit him with the Kaioken ×4 Kamehameha, and you know he won the beam struggle. Excuse me. But Vegeta didn't die, you know. And Vegeta took a lot of punishment in that saga, yo. He took the Genki Dama. He took the Kaioken ×4 Kamehameha. He took Gohan landing on him with 1,000,000 pounds of Uzaru. And he still fucking lasted, bro. What an alpha in that sense. I think Vegeta would have kicked Goku's ass ruthlessly, you know, until Goku learned the Kaioken. That's what I think. Last question. Now this is where it gets wacky, all right? So Corey and the Pussy asked me several questions. These are very personal questions, but I'm going to go ahead and answer them. All right, here we go. Piece of cake. How often do you masturbate? About 4 times a day, maybe. Can a black person join the KKK? I don't believe so, but you never know. What lotion do you recommend for jacking off? I don't use lotion, but I recommend just spitting on your hand and just going at it. What does your prophecy say? My prophecy says there's going to be a new Dragon Ball show in July, and my prophecy was right. How old are you? 30. How tall are you? 5'11". What's your address? 2125 Flicka Flacka Lane. Tetas or culo? I love both, but I'm a boob guy. I like boobies more than butts, but I can always appreciate a nice ass, especially if you're hitting it doggy and you see that shit bounce. I am a Latin man, so that's expected. When are you leaving for Mars? I don't know. I think it's too red for me, bro. I think I'm probably going to stay here. And why doesn't McDonald's sell hot dogs? If they can't even get a fucking burger right, if they can't even get chicken nuggets without feeding us pink sludge, I don't want them to sell hot dogs. But I do remember a very brief time back in 2002, and I'm probably the only one who remembers this, but if you're listening to this, comment below if you remember this. But there was a very, very, very brief time in 2002, 2003 when Burger King actually sold tacos. I'm dead ass. Burger King sold tacos. And I remember my first job, my first actual real job was at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's back in 2002, and I made $5.50 an hour. Ridiculous. That was the minimum wage back then was I think $5.25. Or maybe it was $5.50, but I made $5.50 an hour. Just ridiculous. This was back in 2002. I would never, ever, ever suggest anybody working at a fast food place for too long. Now, if you're listening to this and you're working at a fast food place and you've worked your way up and you're happy, I'm not, more power to you. But if you're still making minimum wage and you've been there a while, get educated and do something. But what I was gonna say was, when I worked at McDonald's, I remember they had 2 menu items that they never brought back, at least not locally. Again, I'm in Florida. I'm in the West. I'm in Tampa, Florida, is where I live. I'll tell you that much. But I can't. There's different McDonald's around the country. They do different things, like they sell different kinds of food and stuff. But at my McDonald's, the one I worked at, for a very brief time, they had the ranch chicken sandwich, which was fantastic, and they had the what I think is the greatest sandwich that McDonald's ever did. They don't have it anymore, and that's the Philly cheesesteak burger. They don't have that anymore. I remember being addicted to those like crack when I worked there. We never saw it again. It's too bad. It was like the steak and cheese bagel steak, but it was like on a long bread with peppers and onions, and it was like the best shit. The best shit McDonald's ever did. But honestly, I don't eat at McDonald's anymore. I have not eaten there since 2009. 2008, actually. I'm a lot healthier now because of it. McDonald's is like the dirt worst food ever. And even if you don't believe Super Size Me, do your own research. McDonald's is the dirt worst possible food. And all fast food is bad to an extent. McDonald's is the worst. Anyways, thanks again for sending in your questions. I'll get this Ask FM up when, I'm just really busy. Leave them in the comment section until then. Again, I apologize if that's any inconvenience to y'all, but hey, I hope you have a great one. I'll catch you down the road, and spread the word about the channel. See you then.